Well, unfortunately, step 3 is it's okay to not give everyone the respect of an answer, especially if they're continuously breaking in. So step 3 is kind of just to leave them, to go away. Yeah. First, you stop him, then you shame him. If that doesn't work, you leave him. Like any good relationship. When all else fails, let it go. Walk away. Again, what's the goal? Not to get any side mad. Right. And so it might just be, okay, clearly you can't allow me to talk. You just want to have this monologue. It's probably best that we kind of go our own way. If the steamroller won't let you answer, listen politely until he's finished and drop it. Okay, that's a good point. Let him have the satisfaction of having the last word.
The last word.
Which is a hard thing to do, especially Facebook comments, YouTube comments. Then shake off the dust of your feet and move on. Again, something with that is if you've made decent points and you've tried to establish your point of view, sometimes letting that person have the last word, what you want to do is then whoever goes back through and reads that, hopefully they see your point of where you were at and what you were doing, and that last point may try and undercut you as a person, but you're just allowing the audience to kind of view that. So he says that this is the kind of the last step is dictated by a simple but bit of insight. Not everyone deserves an answer. Wow. And we actually get
this. Not everyone deserves an answer.
Right.
That's the insight here. Right. Okay.
And who gives us this insight? Jesus does. Wow. Jesus warned, do not give what is holy to dogs and do not throw your pearls before swine. And that's Matthew 7:6.
So we got to figure out if they're dogs and pigs, right?
Yeah. If you sense someone is pawing the turf and readying for a charge, it may be time to leave. Don't waste your efforts on people like this. There's plenty of ripe fruit waiting to be harvested. Amen. Save your energy for more productive encounters. And again, this is about tactics on how to have conversations. And if you're not able to have a conversation, this might not be the best time, the best place. Maybe they just got into a fight with their parents, and so their steamrollerness is based off a converation that they
previous
had before.
Anger. Right?
Again, and what am I doing here? I'm kind of giving excuses for them for their behavior. That isn't just they hate God, they don't want to hear the truth, and so I must force the gospel on them, because then when they think back to that encounter, they might go, he was having a conversation with me, but I let the fight that I had with my parents kind of influenced me. I should give him a call, apologize, or when I see him again, say, hey, sorry, I interrupted you. And that might be what happens. Or you just might have to have some other laborer in the field be their harvester. So that's what we want to do.
He says here that Jesus followed his own advice.
Yeah.
Jesus was amazingly tight-lipped before Pilate. He gave him no answer, John 19:9. At times, he was also evasive with religious leaders intent on tricking him.
Yeah.
Matthew 21 says, neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things, right? I'm not going to say,
right? Well, and he did that with questions, too, at the beginning. He did a Columbo tactic at the beginning. They liked John, and so he said, by whose name did John baptize? I don't really want to answer that. And they're like, we don't want to say. All right, then I'm not going to say either. Yeah. If we're not going to have this conversation, if you're going to pause it to me, but you're not going to answer my question, then why should I?
Then it's over. Yeah, I'm walking away.
Right. And what does the text tell us is they kind of understood what the implication was even without the answer. So that's something to be had there as well.
So he says, how do we know when someone has crossed the line? When do we have an obligation to speak, and when should we save our pearls, for another time? He says, part of the answer can be found in Jesus' next word in Matthew 7:6. Or they will trample the pearls under their feet and turn and tear you to pieces, right? And so he says, be generous with the truth, except when someone who shows utter contempt for the precious gift being offered. He says he will simply trample it in the mud and then viciously turn on you. If you sense someone is pawing the turf and ready for a charge, maybe time to leave.
Right. And that's one of those things, too, where, if you're using the Columbo tactic and it's now your turn to provide an answer, which is, again, what we want to do. And they just keep hurling accusation after accusation after accusation after accusation. And you're kind of not really staying on a topic. They're not given kind of their perspective. It might be time to go, okay, well, it seems like you just want to ask me a bunch of questions. We've kind of been going at this long enough. I'm going to bow out here.
Right. So. But I'll give you the last word.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sometimes that makes a difference to people. So, they can go away, raising their glove boxes in the air and say that I've won. That's fine. What does it matter? You've made a possible gospel presentation. You've provided them with answers to some of their questions, or you've told them, hey, I don't know. I'll get back to you. Oh, well, if you don't know that, then how can you be certain of anything? Okay, well, if you don't want me to find out an answer to your question, I guess you didn't really mean it. Or okay, but just let it go and let that person go away gloating. It's you're not out prize money or whatever it is. You just ended the conversation, and sometimes that's what you need. Is like, I've been in this coffee shop for 20 minutes, and I really need to go pick up my kids. So, I can't give you another 10 minutes to tell you why that's not the case or what have you. And so I like Koukl's point here where he says, if someone's hating the answer that you're giving them, don't take it too personally, because Jesus tells us that, when they hate you, they're hating me. So, that's something that we're told that we're blessed in. And actually, if they're reacting in such a strong way where, they don't like it. It's like, okay, well, good, I'm blessed. And so he says, make the best of opportunities you have, then trust the Holy Spirit to be the witnessing partner who makes the difference. And again, that's ultimately the thing, especially if you're from a very reformed perspective here, is that, we're called to be the messengers of God. We're called to be his image bearers within the scope of humanity, but also his image bearers of Christ. And so we're supposed to be Christ-like to other people. And so ultimately, whose responsibility is it for the salvation of others, of turning the hearts of men from hearts of stone to hearts of flesh? Well, that's a supernatural thing. It's nothing that we can do on our own. It's something that we have to be humble and contrite about and turning our lives over, and that's ultimately up to God. And so again, that's why we can think that we might have the worst gospel presentation. I didn't talk about the atonement enough. Well, okay, but God can use that. And again, you might be the third in a line of 16 people that talk to that person, and number 16, and you'll never interact with that person again. But that person remembers kind of what you said a little bit about them being a sinner. Yeah. Okay.
And he says, dealing with the steamroller is rarely a smooth and tidy enterprise, right?
The thing that makes things smooth is it's hard to have a smooth interaction.
Yeah, really. He says, so when you encounter abuse, don't take it personally.
Right.
It's not about you. It's about Christ, as you said, right? So when you falter, he tells us, don't get discouraged with the process. Take it as a learning experience for the next time around.
Yeah, right. That's what we're doing.